Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Keshava Madhava Hari Narayan, Keshava Madhava Hari Narayan, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana. Shri Venu Gopal Krishna, 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 Madhava Madhusudana Narayana, Madhava Madhusudana Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana. Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Krishna Rama Govinda Narayana, Narayana Hari 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 Narayana, Narayana Narayana Narayana.
एक बार बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। केवल भगवान की कृपा से सत्संग को हम प्राप्त होती है। ही भगवान आपके चरण को हम धन्यवाद देते हैं। केवल गुरु की कृपा से मानस चरित्र की कथा को मैं वर्णन कर सकता हूँ। हे गुरुदेव, बारी बार आपके चरणों को मैं प्रशंसा करता हूँ। ब्राह्मण समाज और ब्राह्मण समाज में पंडित लोग, श्री धर्माचार्य जी, पंडित नरेंद्र महाराज, पंडित रुद्रनारायण महाराज और अन्य पंडित लोग, आपको मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ। साधु साध्वाइन लोग, आपको भी मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ और प्रिय मित्र, आपको मैं स्वागत करता हूँ। First and foremost, we must thank the God of our liking and understanding that we are in the presence of His word, in this case, the Ramayana. Yours truly will try my best to give not what is according to my whims and fancies, but according to what Sant Tulsidas Ji has indelibly put down here. I hasten to the feet of my Guru, Pandit Mahesh Maharaj, through whose tireless volunteered efforts a wannabe Vyas like myself is now sitting on a Singhasan. I thank him. I hasten too to the feet of my Vidya Guru, Pandit Sriram Jarunan Misra, because he made his tireless volunteered academic input into my becoming a wannabe Vyas. If the plaudits of this katha and others that have been read are not mine, I am a very bold-faced person, climbing on the shoulders of my Guru, I attempt to narrate the katha. So the plaudits are not mine. I welcome on behalf of the home here our Dharmacharya, Pandit Narendra Maharaj, Pandit Rujanand Maharaj, Pandit Rishi Maharaj, or the other Pandits whom Pandit Dinesh I think I saw. All those whom my eyes might have inadvertently missed, you know me better than that. A hospital and warm welcome for you. Satsang is made possible by the presence of sadhus and sadhwines, because you lend a sense of purity where satsang, the rain of satsang can precipitate. To you, we accord a hospitable welcome. Last but by no means least, every single member who has attended to join in satsang, we greet you warmly. The host of the home, as we sit, the host and hostess and family of the home, we have had 2 wonderful days of puja. God's blessings to you. Let me acknowledge Satish and Sheetal for the 2 renditions, brother and sister, before Katha has begun. God's blessings to you. Let me also acknowledge Kavita from Vision 2 Photo and Video Production for accompanying us with the recording, and also IETV. And last but by no means least, my musical accompaniment. We have Vernish Tigger Singh. Needs no introduction, but Tigger, warmly welcomed to join us. My daughter, Kriya on the keyboard. My Dulhin, sitting there on the tambourine. Bhai, I didn't get the name. Ashtan? Ashta. And of course, fresh from his tour of India, Ravi will be chorusing the situation. So God's blessings to one and all. Arti Kasamai, if you're in a position to, if you're not, well, sit, you can sit. If you're in a position to, please stand as we join in Arti. Arati Shri Shri Ramayan Ji ki Kirati Kalita Lalita Siya Pi ki Mana
सम्मत सबही की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की
कलिमल हरणी शयस प्रीति
सुभग श्रृंगार मुक्ति युवती की हरणी रोग भवमुरियमी की तात मात सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सिय पी की
बोलो रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम बोलो
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
जय शिव शिव जानकी राम जय रघुनंदन जय श्री राम बोलो
जय जय शिव
शिव जय रघुनंदन जय श्री राम बोलो
रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम रघुपति राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम
पतित पावन सीताराम बोलो पतित पावन सीताराम एक बार बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय अपने आसन पर बैठिए please take your respective seats I ask you and invite you to bring the God of your liking and understanding once more into your mind as we seek out their blessings, the blessings of the celestials, such that the little time we spend together will be fruitful. So in one voice, the first prayer is offered for a close memory whom departed recently. So we pray for the repose of the soul. Om Najino Dhana Vishnu Shankha Chakra Gadadhara Apar Pundarikaksha Preto Gati Samudava Om Samukasya Kadantasya Kapilo Gaja Karnakaha Lambodarashta Vikato Vignanasu Vinayakaha Dhumraketu Ganadhaksho Bhalachandro Gajananaha Dwadashaitani Namanyah Patetrilu Yadapi Vidyarambe Vivahecha Praveshe Nirgami Tatha Sangrami Sankati Chaiva Vignasasya Jayate Om Buddhim Dehi Yasho Dehi Kavitvam Dehi Dehi Me Murhatvam Harme Devi Trahimam Sharanagatam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Om Nagendra Haraya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shudhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya Om Ram Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Madorame Sastranam Tattunyam Ravanam Varanani Om Hanuman Jani Sunur Vayu Putro Mahabala Rameshtaha Pavan Sakaha Vingaksho Mitavikramaha Udadhikramanas-chaiva Siddha Shoka Vinashinaha Lakshmana Pranadata Cha Dasagrivasya Darpaha Bole Sri Janand Swami Ki Jai Bole Sri Saraswati Mata Ki Jai Bole Sri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Pawana Putra Hanuman Ki Jai Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai Siyavar Ramchandra Ki. Our closing invocation identifies the 12 revered names of Sri Hanuman. Om Hanumanjani Sunur Vayuputru Mahabala, etc. In one of those names, what Anjani Sunur, Sunur is Putra, the son of Anjani. And how did that ever happen? How was Anjali able to have a son with the powers of Sri Hanuman? It is solely and riveted in the fact that she understood what is a Ishta, or who is a Ishta. Sometimes we grow up in a tradition where the home is a home of Hanuman devotees, no problem with that. There's a home of Shiva devotees, there's a home of Devi devotees, no problem with that. No one is saying debunk that. But those may not necessarily be your Isht. Your Isht is identified according to your birth nakshatra. And Anjali's birth nakshatra was Swati. And Swati is governed by Pawan Dev, the god of the wind. So she prayed intensely to Pawan Dev, and he presented himself before. He says, "What can I do for you?" And she says, "Well, I want a son with such and such and such qualities." When she read out the resume, Pawan Dev says, "I don't think I have the capacity to do that." And she said, "But is it declared in the Shastras that your Isht can give you anything you want? Your Isht might separate your needs from your wants, because your wants sometimes could get you in trouble, and your Isht is your guardian, so he's there to protect. He or she could be a Isht. If you are born in Punarvasu Nakshatra, your Isht is Aditi, Devi. So either one, but they are there to protect you." And so he took the case, and I think we briefly touched on that. I'm not supposed to be redundant. So quickly, let's print it down. He went up to the heavens, and there's a little banter between Prabhu Mahavishnu and himself. And so it is, he got to give, or was caused Anjali to become pregnant. And it was not a mortal pregnancy. In today's medical world, there's an IVF procedure, something similar to that, where Hanuman came to the world. So that is Anjali Sunu. He is not only, he's the mother, he's the son of Anjali. It tells you, if one wants to be familiarized, or familiarize oneself with how do you arrive at an Isht, and what sort of intensity is needed from an Isht to gravitate and to get results, Anjali is a shining example. So we'll allow Sant Tulsidas ji to do all the talking from here, as we hear in our opening Doha.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Jo Shivranie Ram te soya Darrin Sudan Jo Shivranie Ram te soya Darrin Sudan.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Session. How could we let Ramayana go without talking about Hanuman? So obviously, the Katha is focused on Hanuman. And who was Hanuman? Doha tells us, Jo Sharirati Damati, because of the intense love that Bhagwan Shiva has for the Supreme Shri Ramchandra. Soya Darhi Sudan, the wise have endorsed and says, this is what took place. Rudra Rupata Jinehavasa Shankar Bhe Hanuman. Shiv Baba relinquished that Rudra form, and he took avatar as Hanuman in the Leela of Ramchandraji. The name Hanuman. Hanu is a jaw, man is to be known. There was something about Hanuman and his jaw that he got that title as Hanuman. And it is in the 12 revered names you spoke about. And that episode, as some of us who have spent time in satsang might have known so quickly, Hanuman, as a babe, looked at the sun. People say he thought it was an apple. But he started with Aesop fables once upon a time. Far from that. He saw that physical appearance of the sun and was attracted to it. He gravitated to it. And the devatas felt threatened that, look, the sun is responsible for life. If he does anything, different, it might affect life. So they all tried to bring him down. And so Indradev, the god of celestials, in pecking order, you have God, whether you call him Mahavishnu is most times the non-incarnated form. He reincarnates 24 times. Okay? And as Ram, as Krishna, which reminds me, last night I promised you that what happened to 24 incarnations. So we know 16, we know 16 was Parshuram, 17 was Vyas, 18 was Shri Ramchandra, 19 was Balaram, 20 was Krishna. Who is 21 and 22? We know 23 was Buddha, and we know 24 to Kalki. 22 was Vaivasvat Manu, and 21 was Hayagriv, God with the symbolism of a horse head. And those are the incarnations. So when we talk about pecking order, it could be any of these, so that's God. Then you have the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and the spouses and their family. Then you have Indradev in pecking order, the Lord of Celestials. So it is that Lord Indra who struck Hanuman on the jaw, and he fell to earth unconscious. When his father, and when we say father, of course, Pavandev brought him to earth as a Ishta. When his father saw that he was upset, and the Pavandev controls, in Hinduism, there are 49 wind currents. Forget what the Western will tell you. Or in fact, they're still searching now. You have northeast trades, southeast trades, etc., etc. But there are 49 wind currents governed over by Pavandev. So he shut down the show. No air blowing, no wind blowing, no AC either. And everybody became uncomfortable. And then they came and beseeched and begged him, how can we relieved of this situation? He says, well, I want all of you all to bestow immunity to Hanuman with all the weapons. So Agni Devata come, there were no fire will destroy. That's why his tail could have been burnt and could have been lit afire, and he didn't affect it. And he burned on the whole of Lanka. And we could go on and on and on. That is how we got the name Hanuman. He has those sorts of immunity to whichever weapon that might be hurled at him. And this Sri Hanuman was a repository of strength. Don't only think physical strength. More than physical strength is mental resolve, the ability to fall in life, dust your pants and get up and get going. Resilience, it is said in English. That is Hanuman, that is the strength we're talking about. That no living force can back you in a corner if you are in truth a Hanuman devotee. Take the building of the bridge, for instance. In those days, the distance between the southern tip of India and Lanka was 800 yojan. Landmass during the course of time, if you measure now, is about 62, because some of the land has submerged, etc., etc. But we're going back to when it happened, when that bridge building was going on, it was 800 yojan. And that was dished up in 3 days. The first day they built 14 yojan, the second day 36, and the last day 50 yojan. That is the Hanuman. Who led the bat? Who led that? That is the Hanuman we're talking about. No task is insurmountable, whether a physical task or mental challenge. If we are professed to be Hanuman Bhakta and devotees, that could never happen. That and the sun rising in the west could never happen. And so this is the Sri Hanuman we are talking about. This is the Sri Hanuman who, when his father went to Mahavishnu and brokered the deal, and Ramchandra, Bharat, Lakshman and Shatrughan came on earth, what happened? Sumitra, because Sumitra Pasanarpaka, she was the very embodiment of devotion, bhakti. She couldn't two say, like how we have roti here and aloo here. She put one on the windowsill. So she partook of one, put it in the windowsill, and took the other one. The other one, the second one produced Shatrughan. The first one produced Lakshman, and what happened? A golden bird, that was Pavandev, came down, swooped down, took part of it, and carried to Anjani. We transport now to Kiskindahakan. He says, go to Mishamal Gaur Sharira. Hanuman dispatches an envoy to Shri Ram because Sugriv sent there. Sugriv wanted out who are these two embodiments of strength. And Hanuman was God, but he had to follow his boss man's instructions. So he asks Ram and Lakshman, Kautum Shamal Gaur, who are you, one of dark complexion, unfair in life? And what does Sri Ram say? Nam Ram Lakshman do bhai. Don't read that to be, I am Ram, and that is Lakshman, my brother. You know. Ram Nam Kama, I am Ram, Lakshman do bhai. You and Lakshman is brothers, because you come from the same field. Understand Tulsidas, master craftsman with words. And this is Hanuman we're talking about. The one who was actually the brother of Lakshman. That is why when he went for this Jivan plant, that is how siblings should live. He risked it all. Bharat brought him down with an arrow. Kal Nemi played tricks. Hanuman risked it all because his brother's life was at stake. And today what we want to do? For our little Miss Yamina, we want to tote. Well, if the laws of karma are true, then all those who tote him will come back as a wheelbarrow. We can't be sitting and saying we listen to Ramayana and following Hanuman and every day doing Chalisa. And when there is a disconnect between what we read and how our mannerisms go about. So that relation between, those were the names to Lakshmana Pranadata, in the 12 names. Okay? So that is where that is riveted in that showing filial relationships and family bonding. We hear in the upcoming Chaupai. Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jaya Jaya Rama, Jai Giri Charana De Hanumana, So Chali Gaya Patar Aturan. I go chatting all you. I go chatting all you. I struggling here, talk all us and all stay quiet. Well, I go to chat, hear the chat. Ramayana says, I'll tell what Ramayana says. Jo nahi karahi Rama gulgana, jiha sodadura, jiha samana. Ramayana says, Jo nahi karahi Rama gulgana. If we didn't take this mouth and chant the name of Ram, jiha sodadura. G samana, it's frog, your tongue like a frog tongue, poisonous. So whatever it was saying, Jai Ram, Sri
Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama,
Jimmy Amoghara Dhupati Devana, Dahi Bhati Chala Hanumana.
Jai Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Hanuman, through a previous encounter with the sage, was told as a shrap now. You know, when you're young, you're a little mischievous. And you got this shrap that, you know, when you really need it, you're going to forget the powers that you hold. And here it is, the camp of Sri Ramchandra was entrenched in the southern parts of India. Abducted on the other side in Lanka was Sita Devi. And the mission was who could make a connect? Who could contact Sita Mata? Hanuman was the only person capable. So Jamwant had to remind him that listen, you have the powers to do that, to cross this vast ocean. And then Hanuman caught himself. And it said, like in sport, like in play, he ran up the mountain. Jehi giri charana dehi Hanumana, so chali gayo patal tulanta. You know, Newton's third law of motion, to every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. What I mean? Hanuman pressed down on the mountain, and so he went up, so the mountain went down. Like you're going in a car, and the driver mash brakes. What has happened? He mash brakes to stop, but you just go forward. Well, that's why they call Newton and Dalton and all them. They wrote laws of nature. Hinduism understood that already. They were laws of nature. It's not Hindu laws or anybody else's laws. It's laws of nature. So with that reaction, the mountain sunk to Patal, to the netherworld. Jimya Mogha Raghupati ke pana, tahi bhanti chala Hanumana. And like the Amog Ban, Sri Ramchandraji in his quiver, among the arrows he had was the Amog Ban. The Amog Ban never missed a target. When Sri Ram charged his arrow, his bow, it never missed. That's what Hanuman. Hanuman was focused. Large ocean or not large ocean, Lanka or no Lanka, I am Ramkaj, I am going to do the work of God, and nothing will hold me back. In performing that and many other undertakings, we have to understand and put in context the Panchmukhi Hanuman, the five-faced Hanuman. When we go to school, if your child remains in standard 1 and standard 2, you want to call the principal, you want to write the ministry, because my child is going up. But now in God classroom, we want to remain one way. Hanuman, Hanuman, Hanuman. Well, Hanuman have Panchmukhi. There are 5 major facets of Hanuman that we have to understand. First, Vara Avatar. When Bhagwan took Vara Avatar, he formed the Bona. Hiranyaksh, the brother of Hiranyakashipu, carried the world down to filth. And so, a hog, a pig, will revel in that kind of environment. So God took that form to lift the earth up. And when he was about to exit, he says, Hanuman, you are the only person capable to carry this head. So he gave that head to Hanuman whenever the need is. Then came Narasim. You all know about Hiranyakashipu Katha. That when Hiranyakashipu put on all kind of rule and so forth, it was broken by Narasim Bhagwan. So again, when Narasim had destroyed Hiranyakashipu, he was in such a rage that the only person who could have cooled him down, none of the devatas could, was that attendant, that noble attendant of Bhagwan Shiva, known as Veerbhadra. And Shiv Baba dispatched Veerbhadra. He said, go on, cool him down. And after Narasim Bhagwan cooled down, then he said, this head, if the world still wants that, I will bestow it on Hanuman. Then came the third one, which we know as Kesari Kishore. We explain that in Puja today. Boy, I have time to say that or not? I ain't going to have time next time. Beautiful katha about Kesari Kishore. The fourth head, that's Hanuman as we know him, as we honored. The fourth head, there's a little encounter between Garud Maharaj, the chariot of Vishnu Bhagwan, very quick, and Hanuman. Boy, I squeezed for time. I was sorry to. Listen, I had to pull one. I can't give you two. Let me take Garud. Prabhu realized, Bhagwan Krishna realized Garud had a little bit of abhiman, ego. They say, if shallow waters is overflowing banks now. So you find, Garud Maharaj was, fronting up himself with his strength, with his speed now. So Krishna Bhagwan tell him, go and search out Hanuman for me. He very old now, so he mightn't answer and respond quickly and so forth. Have a little patience, tell him I want to see him. Garud went. He bumps up Hanuman. He there probing, hello, yeah, the boss want to see you, etc., etc. And Hanuman barely opened his eye. He said, tell him I'm coming just now. So Garud said, my part clear. I tell my message. He said, I'm going back. When he gone back, Hanuman seen him talking to Krishna. So Garud realized, what's going on here? He humbled himself. He says, no. And so he bestowed a boon on Hanuman that whenever you have to do any kind of traveling, you'll assume this head and you'll make it fast. That is why, as a consequence of that, he was able to make that 800 yojans successfully. Then the students will want to rationalize, Baba, what kind of stupidity is it about? That, Hanuman crossed there. Yeah. There's a theory in physics called density, which is mass per unit volume. If you watch any show on thing, when they're walking through snow, they just have a big kind of shoe. They're spreading the weight, lowering the density so that they could not sink down now. So Hanuman, that's what he did. Like Hima, the power to keep it light. And then we just have Sahara dust. Sahara dust is tons and tons of dust. Cross the Atlantic Ocean, far more than 800 yojan. You don't want to argue with that, but you want to argue with my Hanuman, who displayed that quality, who understood the science of density. You want to call him a monkey god? Let me get clear. He's a Vanar, he ain't no monkey. With her bandar, not Hanuman. Because the word Vanar is stem, the root of it is Van and Nar. Van is a forest, and Nar is a man. A man who was adapted to forest life. That is in accordance with Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. The creation, like you have aquatic animals, reptiles, etc., they come to and adapt features. You ever see a snake with a fin? No. You know, so a fish will have a fin. And so it goes. So beings, creatures adapt to their environment. And so Hanuman didn't live with that so Solomon Huchoy, where he could jump in a vehicle and go up the road. It was dense forest. They had to move from tree to tree. Hence, they were prehensile. It means the tail was pronounced in their bodily structure to move from tree to tree. So Vanar, they were men who adopted forest life. Don't call me Hanuman a monkey god, no man. Don't desecrate it, no man. You know, say in satsang and understand some things. So this is the Hanuman that went without the total focus to accomplish the mission of Shri Ram Chandra. We hear further in Chopai. Dua, running behind time. O Rama, Sindhu Vachana Qur'ani, Turat Uthe Maina. O Rama, बार कर जोर गए कपितः दीन प्रणाम सिया
रामचंद्र की जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम
हनुमान तेहि परस पुनि पुनि कीन्ह प्रणाम ओ रामा पुनि पुनि कीन्ह प्रणाम राम काज कीन्हे बिना मोहि कहाँ श्याम सिया
पर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम
Hanuman tehi parasikara. While on his journey over the ocean, Mount Mainak, which was submerged, a mountain that was submerged, came up to the surface of the ocean to provide rest for Hanuman, not to block him, to provide rest. And that is a long history, which we'll kind of make in synopsis here. Back in times, Mainak had a disagreement with Indradev, the Lord of Celestials, and the Lord of Celestials chased him down. And he was catching up with him. And then Pawan Dev, the god of wind, Hanuman's father, decided to intervene. And so by the force of wind, he hustled Mainak, Mount Mainak, down into the depths of the ocean and saved him. The law of reciprocation. Mainak had this opportunity, saw this opportunity to return the favor, because the son of the man who gave him the favor, the person who gave him the favor, might need rest in his journey. So what he did, he came out from the depths of the ocean and provided Hanumanji a little chance or the opportunity to have a little rest, if you so wish. What did Hanuman do? Puni puni kin pranam. Again and again, Hanumanji bowed. He didn't rest. He bowed and said, I appreciate your good gesture. Ram kaj kin he bina mohi kaha Vishnu. He says, until I don't get the opportunity to fulfill my mission, to accomplish the quest of my master Ram, which was simply to give Sita the mudrika token that he is coming, to give her hope now. He says, until I do access Hanuman to Mainak, I wouldn't be comfortable, and I'm not at ease at all. This is the Hanuman we are talking about. Thus far, we have been talking about some of the glories of Sri Hanuman, and what do we do about it? Yeah, we're lazy about it. Because, why? Because Baba Hanuman Jayanti coming up, and how long had I fast for? Before I ask you, what is the samagri list and so forth. How long I had to fast for? You know? So they minji with puja with Hanuman Baba and other gods too. But you know the strange thing about it? Hanuman in his benevolence give you two opportunities. The day before Diwali in any year, Hanuman also took out our wrong. Let me explain the maths of that. We were talking about wrongs of creation last night. So 4.32 billion years is the wrong of creation. Yes, we did that. Tick the box. And in each wrong, we in the seventh wrong of creation. And each, to make it easier, each round of creation is divided into 14 manvantaras. So each one is a man. And each manvantara is governed, of course, as the name suggests, by a certain Manu. So in one round of creation, or in one Manu, Hanuman came the full moon after Ram in Ram Navami. And in another round of creation, he came the day before Diwali. So we have two vivid opportunities to puja Hanumanji, but that be too lazy for us. There was some trouble, take we quick them and hold them inside. Hanuman Chalisa, left, right, center, on top. And as you get ease, you know, we forget that we have opportunities to worship. And it hones in on the point why this is a privileged age. Because when you're doing your sankalpa, they say, Vaivasvat Manvantare. That supreme incarnation who came as Ram, that supreme incarnation who came as Krishna, etc. He came in this Manvantara in which we live. In this one, there are 71 Tretas in each Manvantara. In one of those Tretas, Prabhu, Mahavishnu came as Vaivasvat Manu. So we live in the era of an incarnation. And I mean to say, we still don't understand that. So when you do the little maths of it now, if you in the seventh round of creation, a short pattern, right? And we say in each round of creation has 1,000 chowkri, meaning that there are 1,000 treaters. So Ramchandra comes 6,000 times. And if I do the maths here, Ramchandraji came 6,454 times to teach us lesson, be good. Bond with your family, don't create kuchur, don't bad talk, don't gossip. 6,454 and still be listening. But you know something? Your child in school and you know the teacher now, what did they teach now, boy? Pound shillings, my days was pound, shillings and pence as our old schoolman. Right? But whatever they teach now, let me say dollars and cents. Right? And the teacher do it 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 you're ready to write ministry. The teacher ain't doing any work. So one lesson teacher teach for 1 month, you're vexed about that. And 6,454 times the principal teaching you how to behave. And we ain't that. So who really, you know, who really is Hanuman Bhakt and who really is not a Hanuman Bhakt? We hear further in Chaupai.
Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama
Surasa Nama Hinki Mata Pathaya Ai Kahi Tehi Bata
Jai 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 Shri Rama Jai 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 Shri Rama Jai 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 Shri Rama Jai 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 Shri Rama.
Jata Pavanasutta Devana Deka, the Devatas watching this movement of Hanuman became a little worried. I wonder if he up to the task. They asking themselves. So what they did? Janai kaha bala buddhi viseka. I wonder if Hanuman had the strength and the power of perception to make this journey a success. Surasa Nam Ahinki Mata. So they went to Surasa. She was of the Nag kingdom, and they asked, she was the mother of the Nag kingdom. Patayaha ai kahi tehi bata, and they put this situation to her. We want you to go and test out and see if Sri Hanuman could make this journey. Now, we'll give you wiles twisted, you know. You have the Nag kingdom, and you have the sap. You have the snakes and you have the serpents. The serpents are divine, like how you have Kinder, etc. Those are from a divine incarnation. And then you have the snake kingdom, as we know the snake kingdom to be. Surusa was that. Then who was Vasuki? Vasuki was the king of the Nag kingdom. That Vasuki who is wrapped around Shiva's neck. Then we ask question, well, who is Sesnag? You have a big name, man. So who was Sesnag? Sesnag was actually the brother of Vasuki. One took care of one matter, one took care of the other matter, rule the kingdom. So this is the Surusa of the snake kingdom who they sent. She was very powerful. So they sent her to interrogate that position. And why we went down this so-called Nancy story about snake and nag and snake and nag. Well, you see, Shivrani's chariot carries 7 sets of celestials. Every month they change. What is the purpose of that? Let's examine. There's only Shivranie chart each month, like for instance, in this month there's the Apsara Gritachi. There is the Yaksh Suruchi. There is the Nag, there is the Nag known as Dhananjaya. There is the Rakshas, there's a Rakshas actually, known as Vat. And so each one of them, so for instance, if one simply says in our morning when you're doing Surya Pranam, and you call these names once, like for instance, Om Shri Vata Rakshasaya Namaha, then any Rakshas that you're meeting in life, in work, in school, whatever, what you have done actually, the Rakshas that is governing this period, this month, you have made obeisance every morning. So his blessings will stave off these sorts of challenges, the negative challenges. And how long? It doesn't take one long to do. In that collection of support of Shivranie, there is Nag kingdom, and they form the reins. You know, the Shivranie chariot is drawn by 7 horses. The horses could go helter skelter. So the reins are represented or held together by one of the Nag kingdom. So if you call their name, then there's a chance, a glimmer of a chance that Shivranie chariot will turn to you every morning as you do your prayer. And that is the purpose of mentioning the Nag, the importance of that. Not to get frightened and scare anybody. They have a role on the chariot, on the rat of Shivranie Swami, which is very, very important. This Hanuman we talk about, you go on Maracas to bathe, you see a red flag. You go on bathing in front of the red flag. You will get yourself in trouble. So Tuesdays, Baba, that is the best day for Hanuman Puja. Then they'll say, Baba, Saturday is the best day. They are good days. But understand what is behind that. Mangal and Shanibar, they are died to red flag. Because of the challenges posed by Shanichar, because of the challenges posed on the other hand by Mangal, one goes to Sri Hanuman to protect from the dangers, because Shanichar will slow everything down. You know, you're doing a lot of work, 100% work, and again 50% result. That is the effects of Shanichar. That is the negative effect. He has positive effects too. So you put in Hanuman in the mix now, that you know your hard work will come to fruition. And Mangal will create a lot of jhagra and quarrel and differences, and people get at each other's truth. And that is where Mangal comes in. So you go to Hanumanji, do you want too much of jhagra and thing in your life now? You get an Amrit Siddhi. That's the best to do, right? One of the best things to do Hanuman Puja. So we have to understand and give context to these concepts of Hanuman. And this Hanuman, why we are talking about all this divine powers of Hanuman? Because his very mother Anjani, she was an Apsara, just like we talk about the Apsaras there. In fact, I can't remember offhand which month, but Anjani, her name was Punjikastali. She is the Apsara on Shivranie chariot in 1 of the months. And how did she fall from the heavenly regions to earth? She inadvertently disturbed the tapasya of a sage, and he said, "You behave like a mortal. You deserve to be a mortal." She fell from the graces of heaven. But you know what was the saving grace? She was also a helper to the Guru of the gods, Brihaspati. And once we do good without looking for a motive, an ulterior motive, once we do good naturally, when she came to the assistance to help Brihaspati Maharaj with his puja and etc., she did it with love. and to support such a great guru, so it could never have fallen in vain. So when she fell from the graces of heaven and fell to earth as Anjali, she was qualified to have a son like Hanuman. Why? For two reasons. She had Guru's blessings, and look which Guru, the Guru of the gods. So sometimes the lesson is from Hanuman that we too could muster the strength and resilience that we want to, but we have to make sure that what we do is not with a hidden agenda. That doesn't mean that students have to study because Baba say, don't make no effort, don't have an agenda. You have to study, don't work hard in a work environment. You want to one day get rise. You're talking about doing voluntary acts with an ulterior motive. We hear further in Chaupai what was Susa's move. से आए राम 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 सीताराम सीताराम राधे श्याम 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 सीताराम सीताराम राधे श्याम 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 आज सुरन मोहि दीन हारा सुनत वचन कहा पवन कुमारा राम काज करी फिर मैं आओ सीता की सुधि प्रभु ही सुनाओ सीता की सुधि प्रभु ही सुनाओ सीताराम सीताराम राधे श्याम 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 सीताराम सीताराम राधे श्याम 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 वन से आए राम 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 सीताराम सीताराम राधे श्याम 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 Sitaram, Sitaram, Radhe Shyam, Shyam, Shyam. Master grammarian was Tulsidas. When they talk about alliteration, the Englishman literally boasts about that, in a sentence, each word beginning with the same letter. That started in Ramayana. An average language carries 150,000 words. The mighty Shakespeare, so they say he was mighty, had put forward 24,000 words. It says the average human speaks with a vocabulary of 3,000 words. What about Tulsidas? Every single word in the Hindu Kosh, in the Hindi dictionary, was exploited by Sant Tulsidas, and in context too. This is not the only Ramayana he wrote. He had books like Dohavali, Gitavali, all these. So he used that kind of vocabulary. So watch what he says here. Sursa is given the mission to test Hanuman, that serpent mother. And she says, Aja Sunana Mohi Dina Ahara. Today, oh God, the devatas give me food. Ahara is food now. Ahara is food. Shabda Arth. Har means to loss. A means not. Like Gyan is wisdom, Agyan, you're dotish. So Har and Ahar. So she is saying, I'm in a no loss position. If you're not in a low position, in a gain position. You think Hanuman was food? Don't take it so literal. Now watch the art of writing. And so she says, today I'm in a win-win situation. Because on one hand, I do need the work of the God, the request of the God. On the other hand, I have contact with Hanuman. No matter, thank you very much. No matter what happened, I have contact with Sri Hanuman. So it goes on. Sunata Vachan ka Pavan Kumara. Of course, it was like a monologue. She was talking out loud now. And Hanuman picked up. He heard what she said. So he says, Rama kaja kari piri mai awa. You're right, you could eat me up if you want. If it's eat you're talking about. But I want one condition. I want to get enough time and opportunity to go fulfill my mission. Drop that mudrika of Sita Devi. Give her hope and inspiration. And then you could do what you want. I'll carry back the news to Sridham. And then you're free to do what you want. Sita hi sudhi prabhu hi sunahi. That is all I want to do. And it was a fair ask. But remember, Sursa was sent there to test his strength and his power of discernment. So she's not going to stop at that point in time. Sri Hanuman, this is one mission that is being described in graphic detail. And sometimes we do undertakings, sometimes spiritual undertakings, religious undertakings, and we there bragging and boasting about it, Look, every Sunday I just go to temple and every Thursday I just do satsang, etc., etc. Well, a bee does live for 40 days. That's the lifespan of a bee. In that 40 days, it visits 1,000 flowers. 1,000. Just imagine that. And at the end of the day, it will that to visit 1,000 miles. It has been they go around 3,000 miles. And you know what you produce with all our effort? Less than a teaspoon of honey, less than 5 ml of honey. With all that industrious effort, the bee is produced, and then he exits the world in peace. But we, people have to hear what we do, boy. You know, they had to know that every Sunday I go in temple. And then I go to temple, but what is very honey in your life? Where is it? It's absent. That camaraderie where it should exist doesn't exist. So why talk or why boast in such case? So this Sri Hanuman we are talking about, this is not, he was on many missions. When Sugriv walked out of the kingdom, yes, Bali kicked him out, but before Bali could have actually pass the directive, get out of here. You remember that katha? I'm hoping you remember that katha, right? What did Chaupai says? Taharaha Sachava Sahit Sugriva. When Sugriv got up and walked out of parliament, Taharaha Sachava Sahit Sugriva. The Sugriv didn't come before the Sachava, it comes either way. So Sugriv got up, but Hanuman, who was the chief, had done such a walk out already. He ain't waiting for the boss to surhaw him. All the commitment, look what happened to me. That's the Hanuman we're talking about. Walk the walk, man. When there are transgressions to morality, don't hold back because of the trappings of power, because of affluence and opulence. You go stay there. Then don't call yourself a Hanuman Bhakt. You cannot be bought. A Hanuman Bhakt cannot be bought. You're not on a popularity contest. And if we do have faith that he is the man in charge, you know, we'll walk. And that is the Hanuman we talk about. He walked out. But Sugriv not have begged him to walk out. This is the Hanuman who, this is just 1, 2, 3 admissions. This is the Hanuman we are talking about. We hear Surusa's 4 admissions. जस सुर सावदन बढ़ावा तासु गुण कपिरूप दिखावा शतयोजन ही आनन कीन्हा अति लघु रूप पवन सुतलीन्हा जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम रघुपति राघव राजा रामा जय राम श्री राम जय जय रामा रघुपति राघव राजा रामा रघुपति राघव राजा रामा रघुपति राघव राजा रामा. So Surasa says, don't get away. And she opened her mouth, and the more she opened her mouth, Sri Hanuman, big up, because Mahimana, one of his siddhis, he get twice the size of that. And when it reaches a great expanse, and it's Surusa's mouth, he take Laghu form, he take the small form, Anima, and he run to the mouth and he run back. If he Chaupai, he didn't say you have me for food, you know. He say, I will enter your mouth. Tehi Vadan Pasara, I'll enter your mouth. He didn't say you have me for food. So when she opened her mouth, before she could have clamped down, he fulfilled his word. He entered and came out back. And when Surusa realized that, you know, he was really indeed clever, she was very pleased. You know, Ramayana is a book of definitions. And to tell you in a different kind of Ramayana about this Hanuman, his powers, and this Chaupai is quoted, is good to memorize. Because we will have these kinds of obstacles, legal and otherwise, that we might need. I mean, on the good side of the law, when the correct side of the law, we might need just that input. Pavana tanai bala, pavana samana, सीताराम विवेक विज्ञान ज्ञान निधाना राधे श्याम कवन सुकाज कठिन जग माही
सीताराम
जो नहीं तात होई तुम परही
राधे श्याम
जय जय सीताराम राधे श्याम राजा राम कैसे जिंदगी जीतेगा जय जय सीताराम राधे श्याम राजा राम कैसे जिंदगी जीतेगा दिन राम पवन तनय बल पवन समाना सीताराम दस विवेक विज्ञान निधाना राधे श्याम कवन सुकाज कठिन जग माही राधे श्याम जो नहीं तात होई तुम पर ही राधे श्याम राधे श्याम राजा राम ऐसे जिंदगी जीतेगा जय जय सीताराम राधे श्याम राजा राम कैसे जिंदगी Pavanatay Bala Pavan Samana. Oh Hanuman, this is a declaration, and I will tell by who after. This declaration says, you have the strength of your father. Hanumanji has the strength of his father, Pavan Dev. Just a Viveka, Vijnana, Anand, you are a repository, you're an ocean of spiritual wisdom and of the power of discernment. Kavana Sokaj Katin Jagamai, there is no undertaking in this world Jo nahi tat hoi tumaparahi that you cannot help accomplish. Who said that? End of Kiskin, end of Sundarkan. End of Kiskindakan. That was declared by Brahma, the creator. The creator Brahma, who created me, you, the 8.4 million species of life. That Brahma, he is also that Brahma who puts us in a work environment, and rather than towing the line and following, we become innovative and we expedite processes. That is the Brahma we're talking about. That is the Brahma who will say, don't worship. You ever hear that? Yet, don't worship Brahma. What's the first prayer say? Then we come Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara. You know, we just mistake. We just take that, we just extrapolate from Shiv Puran and mix it up like Kichvina. Because in Shiv Puran, there was a difference of opinion between Vishnu the sustainer and Brahma the creator. And when the tiff get a little hot, a column of light appeared between them. I digress to make a point. You see that column of light? That was the first lingam, not Saurashtra, Sumanasastra. That is 12 famous lingams of Bhagwan Shiva. But the first lingam that entered the earth was when that occasion took place. And when is that? When is the best time for Shivratri? You have Mahashivratri around Carnival time. Then you have Supreme, the Uttam Shivratri. It's in the month of Maracas. I ain't going to tell you the balance now. Not because it's a secret. I don't want to digress too much. Just understand that, okay? And so that column of light came, and then they heard the voice. Well, look, the winner of this argument, one go to the top, one go to the bottom of this column of light. And whoever comes back with an indication that you reach the top, come back to me. So Brahma went, Vishnu Bhagwan went below, nothing doing. Then a ketak flower fell from the top. Brahma took it and he presented and says, I reach back first. At that point in time, Brahma had 5 heads at that point in time. How much Vedas does it have? 10? 12? 4 Vedas. If you watch any picture of Brahma, he has the 4 hands symbolically holding the 4 Vedas. That 5th head was irrelevant, was inconsequential. And Shiva knew that. So for this lie in inverted commas, of reaching the top, he struck off that head. That was the purpose of that episode. And then Durga Mata gets in very quickly to save the face. And what is the mantra as you saw when you're doing puja for Devi and you're offering applause? Om Mandara Pari Jatari Patala Ketakani Cha, the Ketak. She says, whoever offers among other flowers the Ketak flower to me, double indemnity in blessings. So don't trivialize and minimize Brahma's role. That didn't tell you to worship Brahma, because we could walk down the road, We could walk down the road like a Chaupai, Doha, Mantra, etc. Brahma is names it says is pivotal. So if you want to remain $1 as a student, and I said, well, do worship Brahma, leave it out. Remain a Bundhu your whole life. And then why I get promotion, and why I come in first, and why I making 75%? Because you didn't understand the graces and invite Brahma in your life. And you think just Brahma blessings will make you progressive? No, God help those who help themselves. You too have to burn the midnight oil, and yes, things that you want to find out and you're struggling with, you'll meet it up, because you make concerted efforts. Brahma the creator will make you creative and innovative. And that is the Brahma we're talking about, who made this endorsement. That is testimonial to who is there a task in this world, if you lean on Hanuman and sincerely lean on him, that he wouldn't help you with? Chopai.
जल बिलो की जिनकी परिछाई इन परिछाई राम नायक रघुवंश राम
नायक रघुवंश
नायक रघुवंश राम
नायक रघुवंश
कहे छाह सक सोन उराई यही विधि सदा गगन चर खाई राम
रघुवंश राम नायक रघुवंश राम नायक रघुवंश राम
Surusa was very pleased. Ramaka jasapakari hahu tuma balabuddhi nidana shishadai Surusa chali harishi chali Hanuman. We cut in corners here because time fighting me. So Surusa bless him. Says you'll be successful in the journey. So she went back to the devatas. She says no, he is an abode of knowledge. He's an abode of Vivek, power of discernment. Don't have to worry about Hanuman. He's going to make the shot. So that was a test of the sea, because Surusa pop out the sea and try to, destroy him. So he passed the test of the sea. As he went further, there's a Rakshasi known as Simhika. Legend has it that that's the mother of Rahu. So I have to tell you what she gave. And Simhika had the capacity to hide in the ocean, but she didn't feed in the ocean. She waited for Cha is a little a shadow moving across the sky. And so that is like an indicator. She'll come in, she'll spout out, spring out from the ocean, proximity to the shadow, and she of course will grasp her prey. So Hanuman was encountered. So Jiva Jantu Je Gagan Urahi Jalabiloki Chinaki Parachai Gahe Chaha Sakasona Urai Iti Vidhi Sada Gagan Charakai. That is how she used to sustain herself. But Hanuman was up to it. Hanuman is as clever as you can give, as you can ever think about. Because take when he had Suraj Narayan, his son, got up as his godfather. And when he went to Suraj Narayan, he says, I want to christen with you. As we say locally, Suraj Narayan say, I'm willing, he's a good boy. But that, you see the speed my chariot going up, I ain't gonna have time to hold up with you and talk and lecture and give you lessons on Siksha. And what happened? Then Sri Hanuman ran faster ahead of the chariot and backwards at that. And so he was able to engage Suraj Narayan in conversation without Suraj Narayan having to slow down. And when Suraj Narayan saw that capacity of the Chela, of course, he became the Diksha Guru of Sri Hanuman. Which Sri Hanuman? Balabudhi Vidya Dehumi Harahu Klesh Vikar. And we sing it right through? Well, don't only sing it. Wait, saying it. Harahu Klesh Vikar. Hanuman is the one, Harahu is to take away. Klesh is obstacles. And Vikar, the collateral damage. How many times a sad situation, a traumatic situation might have happened, let me say, on a whatever date. And we, when that time comes along, well, we done, we sulking already. So what happened if our Utsav, which is highly possible, like this year have an Adhik Mass? What about if the Utsav ship and it come on a day that means something traumatic to us? We go Surapi face for God? So if we are a Hanuman Bhakta, Harahu Klesh Vikar, the collateral damage in circumstances that meet, put it aside and get on with the show. Sometimes you say, well, but this jersey, I wear this jersey. This jersey is a bad luck jersey. It's not a bad luck jersey. You wait on a wrong day. And what we mean by that? People as, it's tabij. You're quick to go on, Baba give me a tabij now. Thing ain't going good. This ain't going good. That ain't going good. That's a shortcut. Baba will give you a tabij if it's a donkey. Because if he's trying to teach element, you can't he could probably try to say you can do that. But you have to elevate now from that. So anytime you have a good garment, these are rule of thumb across the board. And the website, svvtt.com. Okay? Go in there, you will see it. Have every month, it have a lot of calendars. You'll have monthly calendars. You'll see days to wear new clothes. And you'll see, let's say, my mind tells me, so there's one, doesn't matter, it's on the calendar. What you do on that day? Every time, say 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., you're going to work that day, you're going to school that day, at that time, what do you have to do? Let your first act register with Vishnu Bhagwan, the sustainer. He who provides food, shelter, and clothing, as we have said. Don't mix up the Vishnu with the Mahavishnu. We're talking about Vishnu, the sustainer. So at that 7 8 p.m. time, go, put on your jersey, pluck a flower, preferably a yellow, and go. Where does it say? Ashtakshar mantra, simple. Om Namo Narayanaya. Rest a day and bow, and go and wear your jersey when you want. That is what you call a lucky jersey or lucky shirt. These are basic tenets of Sanatana Dharma. We get tabij naturally, but everything is a problem, everything is a burden. What does it take out you to take 2 minutes at a time, and have a new jersey, a new whatever, a new garara or so forth. Is garara or so forth, and who in expo all the time? So the thing about it is that you make use of these things, and that's where tabij is not necessary. When you're highly developed, you could get past that. And this is the Hanuman we are talking about, who didn't miss as far as klesh or taking that label of collateral damage out of the equation. If you are Hanuman Bhakt, there are ways we could circumvent and get around things, and we don't have to remain and be morbid about collateral damage. Once, a sailor, through the course of his journeys, there was a favorite port of his where there was a store owner. And so he made good friends with the store owner. So sometimes they will go out, have a little meal after work, take a little picture together and so forth. But after a while he reached retirement age. And then not too long after he passed on, but his son became a sailor. And so the son always had father talk about this partner of his. So he decided when the ship making its journeys, he will go and look. When it's stop off, he'll go and look for this guy. When he went, he didn't sleep. So he asked, he make a question. He says, so and so, running his shop again. He says, unfortunately, he passed away. Who are you? When he told him, well, I'm the son of a sailor, he says, no. The son said, no. The son of the merchant says, no. My father always talked about your father. Right? How your father passed? You're sorry to hear that. He said, well, as a sailor, he died at sea. He said, you come a sailor, you afraid to come a sailor? So the fellow was, he bent his head and so forth. He said, what about your dad? He said, well, my dad passed away in his sleep. He said, you afraid to go to sleep? Don't make things issues now, man. You have to rise above that. You must rise above that. And evil self, you cannot rise above that. There are 6 qualities. You call them 6 gunas. That is for a character build. Hanuman, not only in this katha, throughout Ramayana, show it an example. He was the epitome of all 6 qualities. One of them here is titiksha, forbearance. You're in a situation. You're in a school. You find the teacher, it's showing a hard time, but you find the teacher teaching and you're grasping. And so you go, so when what happened? Have a little titiksha, have a little forbearance. Right? Hanuman makes a long journey here. He didn't give up, he didn't throw his hand up in the air. A virtually impossible journey. Virtually impossible. He didn't throw his hands in the air. So if we are Hanuman Bhakta, write it out. Have titiksha, forbearance. If you're in a work environment and the boss, he left and you right, stick it out. Make your concerted efforts. It's going to happen. It will come to fruition one day if we profess to be Hanuman Bhakt and Hanuman devotee. So in the qualities, the other thing is sama, which is to have, in joy and sorrow, you have a bit of balance. Dhamma, a bit of self-restraint. You have titiksha. You have uprati. Don't take biases. Don't take sides. Listen to both sides. Not because it's my son and my daughter, them is the best thing after sliced bread or paratha roti. No, it don't work so. Listen to both sides. Then you have shraddha, which is faith. And then when you really reach up, you have samadhan, where anything you say, anything you do, anything you think, it is as though God is standing there. Will I say this? Will I do this? If Ramchandraji, if Hanuman is standing there, that is samadhan. And those are the 6 qualities that make character build. Hanumanji, as you see, was a shining example of all 6. Let's hear what goes on when Simhika made that grasp for him.
Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram,
Jaya Jaya Rama,
Sri Ram, Jai Ram,
Jaya Jaya Rama,
Soi chal Hanuman te keenha.
Jai Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama,
Kasu kapat kapitur kahi chinha. Tahi mari maruta sukhavira. Mari dhikar gayo matila.
Jai Rama, Sri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama,
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jai Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Hanuman opted. When she took her disguise home and come, that is Simhika, to grasp him, he tore her asunder. It sounds brutal. We are not sure how if a bandit come in and say, you guys come, so have curry, anything by you? Or do your arti? So Hanuman, you come with your wicked agenda and negative, he took him out. And that refers back to the name Rameshtaha. You need 12 revered names which you talk about in the beginning. Rameshtaha means the Ishta, or the one for whom he has the loving for, like an Ishta, was Ram. And what is the power of Ram? When Sugriv had sent, as we say, Hanuman to him, Hanuman asked him, Jagakaran Taran Bhava Bhavahi Bhanjan Dharini Bhar. He said, are you the person who is the cause of this world? Whose name you take and you cross this world of Avagaman, coming and going? Are you that person? Or are you Bhanjan Dharani Bhar? Or are you the person
who to smash the distresses of the devotee. Understand bhanjan. You see, if you ever see a windscreen smash, it goes into very tiny prisms and you're wondering, oh good, it really make up so much a glass? It's beyond recognition. That is when God gets involved in an act. And he don't have to get involved necessarily. Ramesh Taha, his dut, Sri Hanuman, that is how he does remove the obstacles that we have. We have to understand that most of the times Hanuman took the form of a Brahman. When Sugriv tell him, Viprarupa dhari kapitaha dayu matanai asapu chatabayo. That whole katha by itself. What we want to take out from that, he took a Viprarup. Because Mangala Mula Vipraparitoshu Dahi Koti Kula Bhusararoshu. You get on the wrong side of a Brahman, he capsizes you, you know. Although, you know, gurus teach you have continence. If he's a dotish fellow, go away. We ain't going to burn Havan for that. But if you get on the good side of him, Mangala Mula Vipraparitoshu, he'll bring you contentment. And Hanuman many times took that form of a Brahman to re-establish the world that we have to honor. No? I ain't saying Fernandez Brahman or Punchin Brahman, you have to, just because you're born a Brahman, you could do what you want and he'll worship you. No, we're talking about a Karamkandi Brahman who lives straight, who not only talks the talk, but also walks the walk. Such a Brahman, Hanuman cherished having taken that form. And it is good to know that it's good to know your jat, your varna. Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya and Shudra. There are certain deities that belong to your varna. For Brahmans, including in the structure of a prayer, include Daksh Prajapati. Om Shri Daksh Prajapataye Namaha. Short prayer. For Kshatriyas, Indradev. Om Shri Indraya Namaha. For Vaishya, the Marut, the 49 Marut. Om Shri Marudev Tabhyaha Namaha. And for the Shudras, the Gandharva of the month. That is the ones who sit as one of the 7 representatives of the chariot, the Gandharvas. You take that name. And so in this month is Sushen. Om Shri Sushen Gandharvaya Namaha. So depending on where one's caste or one's varan, I like to say varan because caste, the West has taken the caste and make it a class system. That's not what Hinduism is about. It's a varan. It's structure according to karma. And so this is why Sri Hanuman, he painted lessons not only in the form of Hanuman, but he painted lessons for the entire world to see. Stick an Hanuman book, you get good. Our Baba tell me he coming on here to do puja. When he do so in the Gorino, you see a fella stand up in the middle of the Gorino, waist height water with a bottle in his hand and a spoon. You say, oh my God. When he look close, he say, no, he from the village, but I don't see him come in temple. If he did come in temple, that wouldn't happen. So he go on by the fella, he put up the go on by the fella, he say, boy, what it is that distressing you that you have to take this to? He say, Baba, what move? He said, well, I'll see you with bottle and spoon. He said, well, yeah, Baba, I have a bladder infection. I went by the druggist and he told me, take this tablet, take this medicine in water. So I come and stop in the water. He said, well, I could understand that, but what are you chatpatayin for? What are you shaking for? He said, it might shake well. So you see, when you stay in satsang, you just be like that now. And so we have food in Chaupai.
Raja Ram, Sita
Hanuman first he passed the test of water by Surusa. He impressed her. Now he passed the test of the air. Simika is a feed off creatures in the air, and he destroyed her. Rakshasi destroyed. So there are 2 tests he passed. But he had a 3rd test to pass. For land is either you're born in land, sea or air. So the guardian of Lanka was Lankini, a female. And so when Hanumanji stealthily went into Lanka, she's a good guard, she picked up on him. And so she confronted him. Why do you put Kishi with one fist? Now, Hinduism ain't teaching you about beating women. She was a guard. She was a guard. And sometimes women has beat men. That's okay. Because I had a neighbor. I heard whip. And he wanted, take that. What up? Take that. I gave X. I mean, how could you the lady so? But after I get to understand it, he used to collect it, but he didn't want to feel shame. So when she hit him, he said, take that. Hinduism never teach men to beat women. No, if women want to So she was a guard. So he put Kashina, and what she say? Puni sambhari uthi so lanka jodi pani karabinai stashanka. She clasped her hands, I Lankini before Hanuman. She says, Abaravanahi Brahma Varadinha. I now remember that when Brahma, the creator, gave, after severe austerities, Ravan did not have the behavior he had subsequently, as we have always said. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so after having gained those boons, power went to his head, and so he displayed that. But he got boons, he earned them from Brahma. And Lankini says, I now remember, Chalata Viranchi Kaha Mohichinha. Viranchi says, Brahma, Viranchi is Brahma. She asks her, when may redemption will come? This Rakshasa school. And she says, whenever you see a Vanad Patkayo, there is a sign that is going to happen at some point in time. And so Sri Hanuman had now the land test, and so he caused Lankini to succumb and surrender. So you see, whether your test is land, sea or air, the man who does pass it is Hanuman. That's why we always tell students, don't only do Ganesh Baba, start with Ganesh. Whichever month you're living in the north, Om Shri Krishna Syam Shaya Namaha. Living in the east, Om Shri Lambodara Namaha. You're living in the west, Om Shri Parvati Putraya Namaha, etc., etc. Okay? Then you go to Saraswati Mata. So you live in the east, Om Shri Sarvakantha Vasini Namaha. Om, and you go down. There are names, select names of, so wherever you live, you take those particular names of the deities. So you have Ganesh, because among other things, he's a knowledge-based person. Then you have Saraswati Mata, not because teachers say do chapter 2, 3 paragraphs, you go stick there, do 4 paragraphs. That urge, that fire, education must always be a labor of love. It can't be a commitment. Then you go land up forgetting when you reach inside the exam, forget, you have to love. And so Saraswati Mata gives us that fire. She kindles the fire of learning within us. So that is 1, 2. Bringing Hanuman in the blue, because you could learn, you could have the best knowledge base, and you could read how much chapter you're going in there, and the first question they put there, it tie you up. And what happened? You forget to tell you, skip that, go on to the other 3. But the human in you, and you want to sit down there and spend an extra 10 minutes, see if you could solve it. You panic, you pull the panic button, and that's where Hanuman come in. Whereas, what kind of test you put there? Take Sri Hanuman, take Hanumanji name. We give it 12 names before. You could tell me what Ravi B and them. You could sing line for line for Ravi B. And you could do all of it. I be just asking 12 names of Hanuman, and you can't do that. So this tree must be, it is not must, but is understandable why they should be in every education process. So when a child is down to do work, and you don't have to be child, remember, people doing postgraduate degrees and also, once you sit down to education, take them 3 man. How long you take you? You enter school, you enter university, you even enter work too, because in work, work you're also a student, you're doing things and looking for rewards, success. Take it now. How long you take you to do that? And this is the Sri Hanuman that we are talking about. He passed all the tests. We hear in upcoming Chaupai. Sri
जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
तात मोर अति पुण्य बहुता देखे उनैन राम कृरुता. That's my mistake. And many times you want to see God, you want to see Ram, you want to see Krishna. But a servant of God is equally influential and has that same kind of impact. So Lankini tells us, Tata Mora Ati Punya Bahuta, I am blessed today, not because I see God, I didn't see him. But Dekhe Unayana Ram Kaladuta, with these eyes, I was able to behold a true servant of Bhagwan Chandraji, of Bhagwan himself. And in understanding, sometimes things don't go right with us, or what we say is not going right. Have patience. You think Bhagwan, like a true parent, will forsake us? You think he'll put us through the grind, put us through the mill? It's just a matter of impatience. But you see, sometimes a little education is a dangerous thing, you know. We want to rationalize too much a thing, and we want to rationalize God. We don't understand His mysterious divine hand. So a farmer, walking in the land, he get tired, sun hot, he decided to go for shade, so he lie down in the shade. While he lying down there, he start to rationalize. He said, look at me, I planted pumpkin, big like that, and it was simple, it taking advantage of the little vine. And he said, look at this tree, it was below a chestnut tree. He said, look at that big mahostas tree, and it's chunky chestnut behind. God have it wrong. The pumpkin should have been on the chestnut tree, and the chestnut tree should have been a vine. He doze off. Lo and behold, the wind blow and a chestnut fall in his head. When he wake up, he say, good thing pumpkin wasn't going there. Don't try to rationalize too much now. Nobody is saying blindly follow. But sometimes when you do what you're supposed to do, Baba tell you do this mantra, do this, but you do it, and it's not coming to fruition. Have patience. You know, there are sometimes unseen obstacles that we don't see. You don't have the lens to see it, but it just pull us back from getting burnt in the fire. And then, you know, we have that kind of composure, we'll reach up and be successful in final duha. Tata Swarga Apa Varga Sukha Hariya Pura Ekam Tulaina Tahi Sakalami Sukalava Satsang
सियापति रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय पुरेशा जगन्नाथ की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सियापति रामचंद्र की जय.
And look up for all people who made this statement, Lankini, who we deemed to be a Rakshas, but by this time she had gained her consciousness. When she got that strike from Hanumanji, all her consciousness came back and realized she was treading the path of immorality. And she made the statement, Tata Swarga Pavarga Sukha, the pleasures that we get from heaven, or Apavarga, Saket Lo, where the Supreme resides, the pleasure derived from both of them. If you put that on this one side of the scale, one part of the scale, and on the other part, Dhariya Tula Ikang, Tulai Natahi Sakalamili, Jo Sukalava Satsang, a fraction of a time spent in Satsang, it will outweigh the pleasures of Vaikunt and upper world. That is no idle statement. Then what is that premised on? Because the Doha declares in its Sukh. We're going up there and we expect the pleasure of the company of the Lord, etc., etc. We've gone up there and he gone. Where he gone? He down in the trenches helping the devotees who call out in heart. So if you really want to be with God, go in the trenches and help people. And those that go blindly help people, stay in satsang. Get material where you could offer an inspiring word, where you could give a guiding hand, a spiritual maneuver. That can't come from your head. It had to come from satsang. Bina satsang Vivek na hoy Rama kripa, bina sulab na soyi. that kind of discernment has to come from Ram Kripa and has to be spent time. One has to spend time in satsang. Sometimes we help the people not to rationalize too much. Once three trees, as we conclude, had a conversation in their olden days. And they start to express the wish. So one said, boy, I want to come back the kind of timber that where dignitaries will walk upon me. Next one said, that is so nice. They said, what do you want to come back? He said, I want to come back some fancy table where knights and sirs and lords sit around me. I have debate and healthy debate and conversation. That's what I want to come back. And the last one, they said, what do you want to come back? He says, me? I want to come back like a vessel of some sort where kings will sail with me. And so time came, the trees died. One land up in the hand of a cobbler, one land up in the hand of a joiner, and one land up in the hand of a carpenter. So the one who was a cobbler who was men's shoes, he got a job to make a crow. You know the crow? That's the wooden sabbath. I think all English understand is sabbath, okay. Right? Sabbath, wooden sabbath. And that is the wooden sabbath that Sri Ramchandra wore in the early part of his stay in the forest. And that Sabbath was hankered after when Bharat couldn't get him to go back to Ayodhya. He said, give me a memento, give me something to keep me going. And he took out the crow and give Bharat. Where that crow went? It went to the throne of Ayodhya. So the tree who did say, well, you know, I want to be, as I said I would be, look where he landed up. He landed up as being the very crown, the footwear of God, where he said, I want people to walk on a nice floor. What happened? The foot of God was touching him. Not only merely the foot of God was touching him. Then the other one who landed up in the hand of a joiner, the throne of Ayodhya had to be restored. So they needed good foot, 4 good feet for the throne. And so the carpenter was called, and that tree who fell in his hands was actually the prop and to make the throne of Ayodhya steady. So look what he asked for. He wanted kings and so forth to be in his vessel. He had the King of Kings, Sri Ramchandraji, sitting on him as the case may be. The third one who had asked, well, you know, I want knights and so forth to be around me. He come back, they make, instead he looking for something big, they make a little pirog. And that pirog was a pirog that he what? Used. But the Sri Ramchandra course across the Ganga in his early exile, he asked for a boat, and that was the boat, that was the wood of the boat that came up here. So sometimes in life, we think we lot or what is before us. You know, like God, close the eye, he ain't close the eye. He working with in mysterious ways. Just have the patience. And if you want to not give up, Ek baar bolo Pavan Putra Hanuman ki jai. Second Hanuman, the God of resilience of all things. I thank you for being an attentive audience. We shall now close for... Oh, I'm reminded our Dharmachar is with us. So we would like to hear a few words from you, Babs.
Hello, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki jai, Jai Sitaram Satjano. Pandit Vyasji, thank you very much for leading us in satsang. It was such an excellent katha. Let me personally congratulate you. I was whispering to the person sitting next to me who is from these parts that it's a very, very long time since I enjoyed a katha the way I enjoyed your katha and presentation tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me take this opportunity to recognize the many distinguished people who are here, all of you ladies and gentlemen who have come to take part in satsang, and of course let me also recognize the many distinguished pandits, those in front of me and those to my side and at the back. There's one that I must single out because he keeps the register in which my name is entered as a Pandit of the Pandits Parishad, the secretary of the Pandits Parishad, Pandit Shivranie Maharaj, so I'd like to single him out. There is that, so it's good to be in your company and to see so many of you come out to this particular event. The other thing I want to do is to congratulate Dayanand ji and his Dulahin. They are celebrating 40 years, it's your 40th wedding anniversary. Can I invite you all to please give them a huge round of applause? Because I was asking Shivranie ji whether in fact she intends to go on for another 40 years or so, but she was so busy doing so many things that she didn't answer at the time. But Pandit, I suspect that Dayanand, both of you might well do that, right? If you keep smiling and you keep being the happy person that you are all the time, which is part of the reason that I'm here, because to celebrate with them, but also because they have always been very respectful and loving towards me. And you know, as Panditji, you were telling so many beautiful illustrative stories. I thought to myself, Avat hiya harshay nahi nainana nahi saneha. Tulsidas ji has written, if a man goes to a place and when he arrives there, there is no sparkle in the eyes of the host and there is no love in the hearts of those people. Avat hiya harshay nahi nainana nahi saneha. Tulsi taha na jaiye. Tulsidas ji wrote, I will not go there if even Kanchana Barse Megha, if even it rains gold from the heavens. Go to where you are welcome, where people appreciate you, where they love you, and they really want you to come. And in fact, I said that to you, Shivranie, when I called you on the phone. I know that you wanted me to come, so thank you all very much for that opportunity. I shan't be much longer, but there are a couple of other things. The Sant Tulsidas ji was perhaps the greatest man of his era who lived on this earth. I wouldn't get into much more details about that, but his manas has guided many of us, the Ramcharita Manas. And I was saying not too long ago, from this very katha, when I was leaving Trinidad and Tobago for the very first time, my father said to me, Pravishi Nagari ki jai sabakaja, hriday rakhi ko salapur raja. That was the teaching he gave to me, which is taken from the Ramcharita Manas. Go, my son, go forth in the world and carry the image of Bhagavan Shri Ramchandra with you, and wherever you go, you will find success, which is the only advice I would give to you all. Read and study the Manas, take part in Satsang. Indeed, Satsang is wonderful, as Panditji told you all. Tata swarga apavarga sukha dhare utulai kayanga tule natahi sakalamini jo sukalai satsang. Take part in these activities. Keep Bhagavan Ramchandraji with you at all times. He is, but understand and recognize his presence and continue to be successful and prosperous. Jai Sitaram, God bless you all. Thank you, Panditji.
Thank you very much, Dharmataji. Artika Samai, let's, if you're in a position to stand, if not feeling well, you can sit. आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सियति
आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सियति की
अवध ब्रह्मादिक मुनि नारद वाल्मीकि विज्ञान
सुख सनकादि शेष और शारद वरनि पवन सुत कीरतनी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीर्ति कलित ललित सियपि की
संतत गावत शंभु भवानी
संतत गावत शंभु भवानी अरुहत संभव मुनि विज्ञानी व्यास आदि कवि पुंग बखानी
काकभूषुंड
गरुद के की आरती श्री रामायण जी की हो आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियति की
चारु वेद पुराण अष्टदश
चहो शास्त्र सब ग्रंथन को रस तन मन धन संतन को सर्वस तन मन धन संतन को सर्वस सारे अंश सम्मत सब ही की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की
कलिमल हरणि विषय रस पीकी कलिमल
हरणि विषय रस पीकी शुभग श्रृंगार मुक्ति युवती की हर निरोग भव मूरी अमी की तात्मोद सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती कलित ललित सियपी की
कलिमल हरणि
विषय रस पीकी शुभग श्रृंगार मुक्ति युवती की हर निरोग भव मूरी अमी की हर निरोग भव मूरी अमी की कालमात सब विधि तुलसी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की आरती श्री रामायण जी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी की कीरति कलित ललित सियपी।
So as we thank God for the privilege of satsang, we seek His blessing that we may have safe and sound return journeys home and may the continuing days give us the opportunity to partake in satsang and make it days of prosperity. Om Raksha Raksha Mahadeva Raksha Raksha Janardhanam Rakshantu Devata Sarve Brahma Vishnu Maheshwaram Om Tumeva Mata Chapita Tumeva बंधुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ओम शांति 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 बोलो श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय बोलो श्री सरस्वती माता की जय बोलो श्री गुरु महाराज की जय उमापति महादेव की जय पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय सियावर रामचंद्र की अपने आसन पर भी बैठिए। प्लीज टेक रिस्पेक्ट। दिस इज प्रसारण मीट यू।